People are out here trying to build a social media empire, and that's okay. But I'm out here trying to tell you how, as a Christian creative, do you shine a light on social media. And I'm going to give you 5, maybe 6 pro tips. We're going to go with 6, hopefully 6 pro tips on how to do this well. Welcome to Celebration State, where we help Christian creatives to grow in their creativity and in their love for God as well. If I had a nickel for every Christian who told me they were getting off social media, I might have like $2 now, you guys. But that's okay. For anybody that feels a conviction to get off of social media, I'm not trying to tell you to stay on and hold out hope. I'm not trying to do that. I don't want to get in the way of your obedience to God. But for those of us who have chosen to stay on there, maybe it's the community that you find there. I know for me, I have found so many Christian artists on Instagram, and it's been so encouraging for me to actually build relationships and friendships that I never would have had the chance to build otherwise. Maybe it's because it's free advertising for your business. I know that most Christian creatives feel like they need to have some sort of presence online to be able to grow their business in a large scale way. Or maybe it is just actually to reach people. Maybe you want to be a light to the communities of people that use Instagram. I want to give you some tips for how to engage with social media in a healthy way that is not going to deter or hinder your emotional well-being or your walk with God. Because we all know, you guys, let's not put a pretty face on this. Social media does have this addictive, this kind of soul-sucking nature. If you're not careful and wise with it, it will affect you negatively. So here we go. Tip number 1, know who you are. Do not go on social media when you're feeling insecure and sad. Social media will not affirm you. Social media will show you the things that you're lacking. It will draw you into comparing yourself to other people. If you're feeling this feeling of insecurity, the place to turn to is not your phone, it's actually the Bible. It's actually praying to God. And that if you fix your eyes on God in those moments, you will be affirmed and He will show you who you really are so that you'll be ready to step out in power into the sphere of social media. Tip number 2, know your mission. Figure out a God-centered purpose for you being on social media and stick to that. Let your posts be about that. Let your stories be about that. Let your comments be about that. But stick to an idea that really lights your heart on fire for God in being on social media. And put that up on your bio page, on your profile page. Let that be your mission and let people see what that is. And then stick to it. Your purpose is that mission. It is not getting likes. It is not getting follows. It's not engagement. It is that thing that you are there to do. Keep that in the front of your mind always. Tip number 3, care, don't consume. This is the biggest paradigm shift for social media because most people are on social media to see what they can get out of other people, to see how they can be entertained, to see who might follow them, to see who might buy their stuff. And this is actually not how social media is used at its finest. Social media can be a connecting tool. This can be a place to invest in people, to encourage them, to help them, and to build God-honoring friendships. Don't try to consume what you're scrolling through as if the people in the posts and the people making the posts as if they are objects, because they are people that God loves. So choose your words wisely as you're engaging with them. Strive to build them up. Strive to honor God in that way, and remember that the people that you are watching are not objects. They're people that God loves. Tip number 4, don't take your seat with mockers. Now, I don't know about you guys, but this year I've been going through the Bible and I read in Psalm 1, verse 1, it says, "Blessed is the one who does not walk in step with the wicked or stand in the way that sinners take, or sit in the company of mockers." What does it mean to take your seat with the mocker? A mocker is someone who makes fun of people, someone who always has something smart to say against someone else. And so what does it mean to take your seat? That means to find rest in their company. You're not going there to help them. You're not going there to encourage them towards good words and encouraging speech, but you are actually trying to receive something from them. And that is what happens when we are surrounding ourselves with these accounts that we follow that are not encouraging towards other people. They're not encouraging towards the truth. And sometimes these accounts, they even are sharing truth, but they're sharing it in such a way that it causes us to be angry and hate other people. These are accounts that I want you to be extremely careful about consuming. They do affect you. I know that most of us during the lockdowns, you probably spent more time with your phone than you did with any other human being. And these things affect you. And I'm not saying that you can't even watch these things, you guys, but I'm saying be on your guard. Don't try to take your seat with them. Go into that thing knowing that you have to be careful because you don't want that sort of character to rub off on you. With this tip, you guys, start thinking about what is the character of the people and the trends that I'm following. Are these people moral? Are they generous? Are they wise? This is a tough one to swallow, you guys, and God was just showing me about this recently, so I know how hard it is personally because I know it's so much easier just to not care about all that. But if you want to know the best way to be an untarnished light, then you need to be careful about what you're seeing. Tip number 5. Now this could actually go into tip number 2, but it could also just have its own category, so I'm going to give it its own category. Be careful about your soapboxes. Be careful about what your soapboxes are. Use them very intentionally. If you use your soapboxes too much on many other things, you may not have enough room to tell people about Jesus because you may have turned them off about all the other things that you've posted about. Now, I'm not saying not to take a stand to the things that God's called you to and not to make a big deal about the things that are a big deal, but I'm saying be careful because not every cause is your cause that God has called you to go public about. And this does come back to the mission because our mission is supposed to be God-honoring, God-centered. And so what that mission is, we need to stick to it in this way of soapboxes. Tip number 6, pray for those who persecute you. Now, this last tip is just for when things get super messy on social media, because when you make a post about God, for the most part, you will get people that comment only if they love God, but you may get the occasional hater, the occasional persecutor. And in those situations, pray for those people first. Don't respond in anger or in fear. Pray for those people because God loves them, and this is the way that God has told us to interact with those people. And these interactions could just come from, like I was saying, someone randomly stumbled upon your page. They could have sought you out of anger and aggression. It could happen from when you actually start to care about people and you end up being concerned about friends that you see doing nasty stuff on social media and you call them on it. Those kinds of conversations can end badly. And in those moments, instead of taking it to heart, instead of taking it personally, and I know how hard this is, you guys, trust me, I know. In those moments, we choose to cast those confusing emotions aside. We choose to pray for them. And this act of praying for someone who has come against you, who has come against the God that's inside of you, it actually will help your heart to deal with the hurts that are there to the point where you can let those go and you can forgive those people. I cannot oversell this point enough, you guys, that we need to pray for the people that hurt us. We need to let those things go so that we can still love them, so that we can still serve them in a meaningful way that's not filled with bitterness. Thanks so much for watching this, you guys. If you are a Christian creative trying to grow in your faith, trying to grow in the expression of the creativity that God's given you, please consider subscribing to this channel and turning on notifications so that you can come on future creative adventures with us. These were my 5, kind of 6 tips on how to engage with social media in a healthy way. If you have thought of more tips than this, please let me know in the comments because we are always growing and God has more to say than just through me. So I would love to hear it, you guys, if you have more to say. And if we haven't connected already on social media, my information is down in the description, but you'll also see it right here, Jennifer Paul Art. I am mostly on Instagram, and I also have a small account. Celebration State is for our music that we're going to be creating. And then we also have the other account, Great Union, which is for our blues rock music that we're going to be creating sometime soon as well. But one of the things that has been the most helpful to me and something that you cannot really even control is those friendships that I have made on Instagram, on social media, and even on here on YouTube. Those people that are behind the screens, behind the usernames, they have encouraged me so much. They have caused me to keep going. They have just brought so much light into the world of social media for me. So if you don't have someone like that on social media, let's connect so that we can encourage each other too. With all that to say, I'm so excited that you want to be a light for change on social media. Thanks so much for watching. Be so blessed.